So she's a popular Voice America radio show host who just celebrated her 100th show. Woohoo! Let's give her a hand. And has the #1 most listened to show on the women's channel of Voice America. So for TV, she's #1. And she is a #1 best-selling author of 4 best-selling books with over 14 years of experience in the financial industry. So she's a powerful money lady, growing multiple 6-figure businesses and practices. She's received awards for her sales expertise, networking skills, and transformational coaching. Her books include, oh my goodness, a very long line. She's got a lot of them back there in her table. And then remember, you can have the book signing table over here. And most of her books, the books that she's launched recently, is the Come Out of Hiding and Shine. And I know that that was not only a national bestseller, but also an international bestseller. And she has a few more books coming up in 2017. And they are I Am Beautiful, Breaking Barriers, Unstoppable Women, Women of Courage, Bloom Where You're Planted and Shine, and the Grandma Legacies. Now, being an author is a really interesting, she and I were both in a book that went bestseller. And being an author, I was writing it one day and I realized author is the root word of authority. And I was with someone when they shared with someone else, oh, we had a great speaker, she was an author. And that's all she said. And this other woman was like, wow, great, awesome. I'm like, you never even shared all these amazing things that you did. But she was an author. So Rebecca's going to talk a little bit about that and how you can become an author too. So please, let's all rise to our feet and give Rebecca Gruyter a great big warm welcome. Woohoo!
Thank you. Well, did you enjoy your break? Moving around a little bit, lots of hugs and connection? Yes? Okay, good, thank you. Okay, good. It was great. I'm glad, good. Well, this presentation is really interesting. It's morphed about 7 times. So I'm actually being very open to a conversation and what is really being called forth to share and support each of you. The presentation is Spring Forward in 2017, but I feel like that means different things to different people. There's different ways we're looking to spring forward. There's different things that we're looking to create movement in. And so I want you to think about what actions are you taking that are different, or are you going to be practices even that you're implementing that are different than last year if we're looking to have different results this year? Does that make sense? Because have you ever heard the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing, just maybe even harder, hoping for different results. And so I want you to know you have choices in everything that you're doing. You get to choose even how you believe and feel about things. So I want you to think about, what are you choosing to echo out? Because I believe in visibility. I know Cynthia shared a lot about that, and part of why I believe so much in being visible is because you are each a gift. And visible can be in lots of different ways. It can be up on a stage, it can be on radio, it can be on television, and it can be when you're standing in the grocery line. It can be, how are you showing up in your life for yourself and for others? And to me, that's the piece I want you to take with you today. I don't know what type of platform books, I don't know where you're called. But I do know you're called to be present in your life. I do know you're called to show up powerfully exactly as you're made. And the people who have supported me most in my journey were the people that encouraged me, that poured truth into me when I was hurt. And in the darkness, they put their arm around me. Those are the people that impacted me and fed into me and created a legacy that I get to bring forward like my grandmother. I was blessed with 4 grandmothers. And one of them is my Grandma Gracio. And Grandma, and I'm sharing about her today because a number of her grandchildren are in the room. And something about my grandma is she really taught me to be empowered. Not just to accept things as they are and just kind of go along. She really taught me to embrace the essence of you-ness, the essence of who I am. Can I share a little snapshot of my grandma? Now, this was back in high school. My grandpa had passed away, and so Grandma moved in with us. So I got to know her as a woman. I got to really connect with her in day-to-day life. We'd go on walks together, manicures, pedicures. We'd watch old movies, musicals in particular. And I loved my grandmother, had such deep respect for her and all that we got to build together. But she had this thing that just embarrassed me, made me uncomfortable. Have we ever have someone like that in our life? Like we just love them, have such respect, but like there's that one thing, if they would just change that, my life would be more comfortable. And I was very shy at that time. I don't know that I can claim that now, but I was very shy and wanted to be cool. I don't know that I ever achieved that, but that was important to me, being cool. And we'd go to the grocery store, and my grandma is Italian. And does anyone, that's right. So does anyone know how important bread is to Italian families and to meals? Yeah, and it has to be just right. Can't be too crunchy, can't be too soggy. It's a way of almost expressing and sharing love, like this bread is important to the meal. So we go to the grocery store, and I'm looking around because I know what's going to happen. We have been through this before. Checking down the aisles, hoping I don't see anyone I know, and Grandma starts heading with a beeline towards the bread aisle. Here's what happens. Crunch. I can't believe they're serving this. Crunch, crunch, crunch. What is this? Isn't bread? Tossing it here or there. I'm subtly trying to put the bread back. She continues to squeeze. I try to find like the bread that's going to pass so that we can leave with our bread. We finally find the bread. And I thought, I need to let my grandma know this is not appropriate behavior. She must not know. So I pull up my courage because it's hard to confront someone we love, right? Or at least it was for me. And I said, Grandma, I love you. Mm-hmm. Well, we can't go around squeezing other people's bread. It's not ours. And she looks, and she's petite. But suddenly she became very, compressed big, as my dad calls it, very powerful. The energy shifted. This was a moment. One hand, she didn't even have to put it on the hip. The only way I know how to even get close is one hand on the hip. And she does this, What are they going to do? I'm the grandma. I turned bright red. I thought, she's not going to get this. Let's leave. But I look back at that time in her life and my life, and she taught me a really profound lesson. What if we actually showed up in life like that? Instead of waiting for permission, trying to fit into somebody else's mold of what we think the shoulds, should do, shouldn't do, should be, should feel. What if we really stopped and paused and went, what are they going to do if I really share who I am? And this is a legacy, and I'm going to ask my cousins here and my aunt, right? If we do this, we know how to finish the sentence. It's a legacy that she's created, and it's this pausing. What if I really wear that or do that? What if I do shoe changes every time I'm on stage? What if I share flower pins? What if I share the quirkiness of who I am with the world? What if I find out where I start and stop and who I am and who I want to be and who I'm evolving? What if I am courageous enough and brave enough to find out and actually enjoy the journey, not waiting to arrive someday I am ready, whatever that may be. What if we could show up as we are and share? And just remember to pause. What if I greet every day saying, ta-da? What if we bring the essence of who we are forward just a little bit more? That's a legacy that my grandmother taught me. And not only in that moment, I use that as a representation of our two different kinds of thoughts coming together. That's how she lived her life. She decided to figure out where she started and stopped now that Grandpa was no more. She learned how to drive. She learned how to line dance. She got a silver sports car, goes 25. She was courageous to find out who she was, where she starts and stops. And she was willing to be visible, to share the gift of who she is with me and with many others in her life. So I do talk about visibility a lot, but when I'm talking about visibility, I'm not just saying on a stage, on radio, on television, in books. I'm talking about it in your life. Nobody else is made just like you, with your gifts, your talents, and your abilities. And I believe, in fact, you're made for such a time as this. I've been on a journey, particularly over this last year, that has given me a different perspective on things. And God changed my mission again. I don't know if any of you have had that happen. And as a planner, I had the 3-year plan, the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan. Like, I knew where we were going. and I feel like God changed the story and the direction. So now I'm in that. And I get to see and experience it unfolding. Can I share a little bit of my journey and what I've learned this last year and kind of where that's leading? Okay. So part of why I care so much about empowerment, and that's an important message for me, is because that is not how my life began. I grew up in a very disempowered place where it was not safe to be seen, it wasn't safe to be heard. I experienced all kinds of abuse in those formative years that a little girl should never experience. And when I cried out for help, it wasn't believed, and I was put back, and the consequences would get more severe. I was eventually rescued, which I'm very grateful for. My dad was key in rescuing me from that environment and moved me into a home where I could actually heal and bloom. And what I discovered in this new place is that those were lies that I had believed to survive. That I actually am beautifully and wonderfully made. That I actually matter. That it wasn't my fault. I don't have to be more than I am. And that it's safe to come out of hiding. It's safe to be seen and heard. But can I share something else in that? It's one thing to know that on an intellectual level. How many of you know things on an intellectual? Yeah, we know lots of stuff. We're very smart. It's very different to know it on a cellular level, to be it, to claim it, to choose to echo out what matters most to you. And that's a choice we have every single day. Part of the consequences that I had in that journey is I was terrified to speak or be seen, even though intellectually I knew I was safe. And when I would get up in front of 2 people or more, and they'd want me to say my name or maybe answer a question, I would shake. I would turn red, actually purple. I went straight to purple. I would start to have my throat close down My ears would ring. I would lose all my words. And I would try to squeak out whatever I could, and then I would spend the rest of the time recovering. As I was experiencing that, I went to a Women's of Faith conference. Have any of you been to a conference like that with thousands and thousands of women in an auditorium? Have you ever experienced or seen that? Thousands and thousands of women and this little tiny stage on the Jumbotron. And I saw these women take the stage, all different shapes and sizes and ways of being. And they shared their stories, and I felt a shift. Like I felt healing. I cried, and I noticed the same thing around me. And I planted the seed that maybe my story could be used for good. Not only could I change that history, change what I'm bringing forward, make a different choice and what I'm going to echo out into the world, not what had been, but what I wanted to be and bring forward. But maybe it could actually heal and not hurt. Maybe it could help. Maybe it could make a difference. So I come home. Mom, I know what I want to be when I grow up. Arms are waving. I want to be a motivational speaker. And she says, honey, that's wonderful. And she put her arm around me. But you do understand that means you actually have to get up on a stage and speak. I hadn't connected those dots. I wanted the transformation, not that scary, vulnerable part. And so though I felt the call, I said no, because I thought that is impossible. I could never do that. So I went a different way. How many of you have had a calling in your life one way or another? A pull. Here's what I've discovered. It doesn't go away. Sometimes it has to grow stronger roots. Perhaps we need to grow and evolve a little bit to become fully how we're called to be and step into, not fully arrived, because I don't know if that ever happens, but ready to step forward. So I went a different route. Ended up in human resources. I worked for different companies. They kept putting me into a speaking position. Crazy. So I learned how to hide in the public eye. If I wore certain shoes, I wore my uniform representing the company or the organization. I had all my credentials laid out, and I had lots and lots of content. And I would hide behind that. And I could stand up and share. They didn't know who I was. I was the financial lady. And if they didn't like something I shared or they didn't make sense, they were rejecting that stuff, not me. Build a successful financial practice. And then I got the call again. And this one wouldn't leave me at peace. And I was a little irritated with the call, and I talked to God about that. I said, I've been doing the speaking thing, and the transformation is not happening. Why are the hearts not healing? Why is that difference not happening with that hope that had been planted? Because I am speaking. God said, no, you're hiding. I'm speaking all the time. I travel across the country. People know me. Very humble. They know your content, they know your information, and they know your look. As long as you hide behind the shield, you will not touch their hearts because your heart's protected. Will you go where I call you to go and share what I call you to share or not? Well, I shouldn't have to. Someone else can do that. That's uncomfortable. That's not what financial people talk about. Someone else will go. God kept playing through my mind the deals that I made with him on the healing journey. Has anyone ever made a deal with God? He remembers. And it used to be this step I would have to take that was really hard or really challenging that terrified me. It was my edge. confronting someone, making a stand, going somewhere that felt unsafe, but I knew I was called to be there, whatever those steps were. And I would say, okay, God, I will do this mean, hard, horrible thing you're asking me to do that, frankly, I don't think I should have to because I have suffered enough. If it can make a difference for another little girl, I will do this. Because I could find the courage to care for them, to take those steps, because I cared more for them than for myself, and that would pull me forward. So God played all those conversations through my mind. 9 months this dialogue went on. Wrestling, not wanting to, newly married. Andrew, my husband's like, yeah, I married this financial lady, and it became different. I said, yeah. And so I finally, you guessed, said yes, but it was with great fear. And what I told God is, okay, I will do this mean, hard, horrible thing you're asking me to do if I never have to talk to more than 50 people at a time. No cameras ever. No books. I'm not a writer. I don't want to record anything. I'll use a microphone because my voice isn't super loud. You bring the people, tell me what to say, and I'll do that. Let's go change the world. Silence. You misunderstood. This is yes or no, period. I was afraid of that. Because when you have those yes or no periods, if I said yes, I was like no longer in control. I don't know if I ever was, but I knew I wasn't. And I knew I'd have to keep saying yes. This was an ultimate yes. It was going to move in a different direction. So I said, okay, God, I will do this. But I hope, and I listed everything again that I wouldn't have to do. And I look back at that moment because guess what? No one was asking me to share my story. Nobody was asking me to be on stage or in books. Like, it wasn't even a reality. But I created the worst, most scariest things I could think of to say no. Have any of you ever done that? We can hide in the public eye. We can make things the way we think are horrible so we can say no. But guess what? I had choice every single step of the way. And when I went on stage, and I knew I was going to tell my story for the first time, it was in front of 300 people, so that was off the list right from the get-go. Live streamed, by the way. Camera check, off the list. And I remember actually eyeing the exit path. So if I needed to leave the stage as quickly and gracefully as I could, I would. And in that moment, I became empowered because I chose. And I remember sitting there, okay, I can stay 1 more minute. I can stay 1 more minute. And I survived every minute. I survived every presentation. And I became braver and more courageous. And I share that because it's not always been something that I've leaned into and I've loved doing. And now I do. It's a privilege and an honor to be on a stage sharing and speaking with you on television, in books. I'm interviewed constantly in podcasts and video, all sorts of video summits, etc. And it's become part of my daily and weekly life. And you know what? I love it. Who knew? And I feel like we don't even know our potential. We don't know how we're gifted. We don't know all of what we're called to be because we look at right now how we are. Instead of recognizing every step prepares us for the next, and we get to choose every single step. So here's the journey from this last year. God had really placed on my heart, Rebecca, be ready. And it wasn't like, look out, be ready. It was, be ready in all seasons. There's no more getting ready to get ready to someday get ready to maybe feel like I'm ready to actually do something. It's be ready, period. Moment's notice, take the stage. You're handed a microphone, speak. You're given an opportunity, lean in and say, yes, you are ready, be ready, and do it. Move forward. It's not about being perfect. It's about being willing. So I went on a speaking tour this last year, and different locations, different communities. And I was working on 3 of the books. 2 of them are over there right now. And I'm a planner, as you have gathered, and I like lists and time and this kind of thing. So I had a half hour blocked out to an hour. We need to get the outline of the chapter done before I go to the headquarters of Voice America and do the things we're going to be doing there. So God, give me the download. We're on a timeline. Ready? You said to say yes to this book, so I'm willing. Give me the download on my time when I'm ready, when I want it. He said, it's time for you to listen. It's like, oh, that's like when we changed careers last time. Okay. Listening and writing. He goes, you're no longer a speaker. But that was an identity I had become. He goes, no. You're an ambassador and an empowerment leader who speaks. Different kind of energy to hold. I said, okay, so who am I an ambassador for? Silence. That became the journey. So when I stepped into the headquarters of Voice America, I walk in and we're doing the tour, and I get to see all of their studios and meet this Voice America family that I've been working with for a while on radio and now on television. And they said, oh, Rebecca, we're going to interview you, and we've scheduled a radio show for you that you're going to be highlighted on with the CEO of Voice America. And we've also set up the camera if you'd like to film a show or two. And what was I already told to be? Ready. So I said, okay, yes. At least I was there 2 days, so I had overnight to prepare for a couple things. But I've also learned when you have those opportunities, you pause and you check in and find out what you really want. Like we did this morning. What do you need? What are you willing to receive? So I went back to them with a counter proposal. And I said, well, what I'd really like to do is interview each of you. And I listed the individuals because you're always behind the scenes. You're the heartbeat of Voice America, and I'd love to share you out with the world. Can we do that? And they said yes, and entrusted me with that. We ended up putting together a great series, interviewing the CEO and executive producers and these amazing leaders, bringing them forward to the world so that you all could meet them and hear their wisdom. And I'm sharing that because sometimes when we get these amazing opportunities, we say yes, but we don't check in to see what is it we really want. What do we want to do with that? So part of a key to living on purpose and with purpose is to check in. Even when you have those amazing opportunities, remember to check in and see how could you make it even more amazing, even more wonderful, serve at a higher level the way that you're made. Always remember to check in. But I still didn't get the answer to this ambassador thing. So I kept trying to make up answers. I'm an ambassador for this. I'm an ambassador for the messengers. I'm an ambassador for people that are called to step into radio. Let's see, I'm an ambassador for you. Can I be an ambassador for you? Like I was trying to figure out who am I an ambassador for? And I was at an event with Vicky Delajoyo. Many of you were there, where we're releasing the energy of 2016, moving into 2017, the energy that we're going to bring forward. And I got a download. And I had been wrestling with, now that I'm a TV network owner, how does that look? How do I hold that? How do I be that I'm holding that space? And I'm a publisher, it was starting to feel heavy and all this pressure. And then I met someone in the restroom, and I was in cute little boots and my street clothes. I wasn't in the leader outfit. And she looked at me, and I could tell her I was a disconnect. I didn't match whatever a television network owner is supposed to look like. And so I was wrestling with those things because I want to hold things in honor and the way I'm called to hold them and be what I'm called to be. And I got this download. And in a moment, it's like I suddenly understood who I was an ambassador for. I had been looking this way, and it was this way. The point was the same, the pivot point. It still revolves around messengers and platforms and visibility. But who I'm actually an ambassador for are the readers, the viewers, the attendees, the people in the audience, the viewers, the people that desperately need encouragement and hope and truth and wisdom. And then for just a moment, I felt their pain, their hurt. Like this big, thick pea soup fog surrounding in the midst of lost. And when that comes down, you just are thinking, can I take one more breath? Okay, I can take another. I can take one step. You can't see any hands that may be stretched out to help you because you're trying to breathe. And we, as messengers and ambassadors, are the ones who can, I'm speakers, we're ambassadors as well, but as speakers and coaches and healers and leaders and people being visible in our life, because guess what? We all have that opportunity. We can all reach out a hand. The only thing I know that cuts through that darkness is light. We have to be willing to be that light, to shine brightly enough they can see the path. They can see those are the rocks to avoid, and here's my hand. And guess what? They don't care what uniform you're wearing. They don't care what your credentials are. They don't care that you got one more certification. They care, can you reach out your hand and can I see it? And can you help me into the boat? And so as I took on this mantle, it's this calling forth of messengers, because I think sometimes we get a little too safe, a little too comfortable, a little too perfecting our craft. And I'm all for that. Let's keep growing. Let's keep evolving. But let's help people while we're doing it. Let's be willing to stretch out our hands, to get a little bit messy, to open up our hearts and reach out. And be willing to shine brightly enough that they can see us in the darkness. So whether you are called, I don't know where you're called, but I do know whether it's stages or books. All the things I had on my list I was never going to do. You may have a similar list, I don't know. But I want to encourage you to be willing to stretch, to be willing to serve. Be willing to be seen so that you can. Be willing to stand for those who need you. Give them that encouragement. Let them have that arm. Cry those messy tears with them. Be willing to walk beside each other in community. Be willing to reach out your hand to others as they need you. Are you willing? Are you willing to say yes every day? Are you willing to be on the lookout? There's someone that maybe needs a hug. There's someone that needs a flower pin. There's someone that needs to be reminded how amazing they are. Maybe I could call someone and let them know what I see in them. Speak truth into them, encourage them, cheer them on. Every day we can live our life that way. We can be that light. So I'm going to actually have us close our eyes. And I want you to think about being willing to be as you're called to be, to share the gifts of who you are with others. Be willing to be the light. And I just want you to feel into that and see, are you willing? Question isn't, do you feel ready? Are you willing? Just see what the answer is. Yes? No? And those of you who are willing, acknowledge that yes. Feel it in you. And in fact, with eyes closed, you're safe here. I want you to stand in your willingness. Physically stand, those of you who are willing to be seen, to be a light for another. And feel that ground supporting you, me supporting you. I see you. And you actually got up really gracefully and beautifully with eyes closed. I'm impressed. But feel that support, that excitement, that willingness to be a light for another. Breathe that in. And then I'm going to invite you to stay standing. Those of you who are willing to be seen, when we open your eyes, I actually want you to come to the front of the room, and we can actually have some of you take the stage. Let's be visible. Let's let the world know they're on notice that you're going to shine brightly every day in your life. So those of you who are willing to take that challenge, to take this stage, we're going to wave out to the global audience. Let them know we are here supporting you. We are shining. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes and come to the front. Those of you who are ready to be seen, to take that stand. To celebrate as we come together, because it is a community of support and people. Yes, and we can have a front row as well. Come on in. And I want to celebrate. Oh, look at Freba being visible as we take a stand for each of you. We are willing to be visible, to be seen, to serve, to lean in and say yes. So will you repeat after me? I am willing.
I am willing
to be seen, to serve, to shine brightly, because we love each and everyone in this room, and in the world. Let us shine on. Wonderful. And if I can have you all, I love everyone being here. Take your seats for just a little bit longer. Yeah, everyone be careful. I know, the community is formed. I want to breathe that in. So wonderful to share the stage with all of you, the moment together celebrating. And I want to invite you to choose to take that energy forward as we unite as community. That we get to keep reaching out. We get to keep choosing to touch other lives and make a difference. Let's stand. We're going to do our cheer. Do you remember our cheer? We're springing, very good, springing forward. Ready? On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm springing forward. I'm going to expand on fairy dust. I'm putting on my fairy dust bracelet. So we have props, put on my magical shoes. And we have the wand. And I was actually going to have my lovely cousin, Leslie, come on up, because her question is, what is fairy dust? And you're not alone in that question. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I'll let you officially ask your question.
Hello, my name is Leslie. My question is, what is fairy dust?
And I am happy to share. So it comes with a little bit of a story. And that's where fairy dust started. I was in an event, it was a community appreciation event in May, a few years back. And the audience was engaged, and we were playing together, and we were creating things, and just magic was happening. And then he said, Rebecca, I think we should be rewarded for all of our participation. I said, you're absolutely right. What would you like? Would you like a round of applause? Do you want hugs? Do you want, us to blow you kisses, love? A love whoosh? What do you want? We'll deliver. And one lady stood up and said, I want fairy dust. And I'm open, so I thought, I didn't know what fairy dust was either. And what I discovered it was, she went on to describe where you get to name what you want to be sprinkled in by a community. What color, what fragrance, what type of energy that we as a community will pour upon you and celebrate with you. So it's interactive. And it's a way for us to bring forward that which is most supportive of you. So, are you game?
Okay.
So you get to experience fairy dust. So, you start with color.
Purple.
Okay, purple. Does it have a fragrance? Oh, you can come to the center here. It's safe. I got you. Yeah, you're safe. Okay, so purple.
Okay.
Is there a fragrance?
Lilac.
Okay. Any sort of a texture or a shape?
Soft.
Okay, so gentle, soft. Okay, it's safe. Lilac.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anything else? Is there a shimmer to it? Any other qualities you can think about?
Clouds.
Clouds. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Does that have any sort of energy with it?
It's kind of like the strong foundation floating.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Very nice. So community, we stand up and we prepare our fairy dust that we're going to sprinkle our amazing Leslie in. So we're preparing our fairy dust on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and you receive. And that is fairy dust. You're welcome. Thank you. Anyone else would like personally designed fairy dust? Come on up. Come on down. So anything you want to share today too while you're up? Or you're just ready to receive fairy dust?
Yes, I wanted this
Okay.
for such a long time.
Oh,
so I'm
perfect.
very excited.
Okay, so describe your fairy dust.
So I want to have your smile,
Okay.
to have the color of the heart chakra,
Okay.
to be kind but powerful and mystical.
Okay. Okay. Has like a swirly feel. No? Or
To
what
smell exotic.
Okay. Like jasmine? Or
Yes,
what?
jasmine is
Okay.
perfect.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. What else should I say?
No, you choose. I'm just helping, participating.
And to be divine.
Beautiful. So we ready to stand up and deliver? Okay. I'll take that so you can fully receive. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah. This was awesome.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
Are you a speaker looking to reach more people with your message? You have a global vision that you want to touch the world and make a global difference. If so, I have an amazing opportunity for you. It's called the Speaker Talent Search. Again, that's the speakertalentsearch.com. You'll find all the details, but here are the highlights. With one application process, you get clarity on your message. You get to fine-tune how you want to reach the world. Then you'll have everything ready in one place for the opportunities when they come. Second, we select you as a finalist. You get to come in and audition with a 7-minute audition, open up the door to hundreds of speaking opportunities. I hope you lean in. I hope you say yes. We would love to hear your message, help you touch the world powerfully. Again, that's the speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your powerful message.